welcome to hashtag Spina Bifida. So if you saw the previous hashtag Spina Bifida, I talked about my feelings that I had when I was in elementary school, and today I wanted to talk about my feelings I had when I was in middle school. In the last video, I ended with 5th grade, and 5th grade I had feelings of being very anxious and very depressed, and feeling like I really had to hide being disabled and hiding my spina bifida. So first off, middle school in the United States, or at least when I was in middle school, is 6th through 8th grade. 10, 11 to 14, going on 15, depending on the year you started. Now 6th grade was very different for me, and it was the peak of me being very, very depressed and a little bit suicidal, and I'll get on that. But we have to go back to 5th grade real quick to understand 6th grade. So 5th grade, I had my regular surgery and I got back to school. I wasn't fully healed, but I was given an okay to go back. And it was game day because it was the end of the year. And I was cleaning up the game, sitting in a desk. And the kid, that was his original desk, the kid in my class came up to me, yelled at me for sitting in his desk, and told me to get off. And I told him I will once I'm finished cleaning, because I was given the duty to clean the area. And the next thing I knew, I was on the floor. He had pulled the chair out from under me, and the impact of falling on the floor really damaged my back. I started leaking spinal fluid, and I didn't tell anyone because since I was already feeling very anxious and depressed, I just didn't want to go back to the hospital. So I found ways to hide the leaking, but ended up getting an infection the size of a quarter. And if you've seen a lot of my videos where I show my scar, you see that circular part of the scar, and that is because the infection was a hole basically in my back. It took forever for them to get my back to stop leaking. They had to heal the infection first and then try and stop the leaking. So it took that whole summer and 3 months of my 6th grade year. So I got to go to 6th grade for like a week, and then I had to go back to the hospital because I was still leaking. That was probably the hardest point in my life because they tried every method to try and get my back to stop leaking. As a result, it was very painful and emotionally just upsetting, and I just hit a point of constantly feeling upset and not really wanting to exist. I did have a moment of feeling happy. I started chorus when I was in 6th grade, and my chorus class sent me a big stuffed dog and a card. Even though none of them really knew me, but that had made me happy. Just not enough to like get me out of all the bad feelings I was feeling. So it hit a point where I was going to have surgery to put my shunt in, and I really didn't want that, just because I didn't want to go through a surgery. But originally they had given me these pills that would help stop the leaking, but I couldn't take them because I had problems taking pills. But I remember the night before my surgery, one of the methods my parents tried to help me take pills was crushing them, putting water, and just drinking it like that. And I couldn't do it because the taste was horrible. But I really don't remember where my parents were, or my abuela, or my siblings. But I just sat in the kitchen and I crunched up so many, and I tried to keep taking them. I didn't take all of them, and nothing happened, but it was upsetting, and I remember being caught by my mom and just sobbing. And that's always been a very dark point in my life. But the surgery worked, and I got to go back to school. I finished 6th grade. I made friends. Some of them knew about my spina bifida, some not really. The teasing really didn't happen, or at least I didn't think it happened because I didn't notice anything. People could have said things when I wasn't paying attention, but for the most part I didn't notice anything, and I started making more friends, and I started feeling a bit happier, and I started noticing certain friends were a bit more protective of me when it came to my back. So like school dances, it would always get crowded to walk into the gym, and my friends always kind of held onto me with like this little, with their arm, maybe making a shield to protect my back. Feeling the little support of the friends that I had really lifted my spirits, and something clicked in 8th grade where I just stopped caring what people thought, and I started talking about my spina bifida in class and including it in discussions. And I don't know where this confidence came from, but I think something just clicked because I just stopped really letting it get to me. I mean, it got to me sometimes, but I kind of made it a point with myself to not really be scared of my disability and letting people know. Middle school, pretty much 6th grade was one extreme and 8th grade was another extreme, but I just had a mix of feeling at my lowest and had the beginning of feeling at my highest. So that was my middle school years. So that's all I have for you today on hashtag Spina Bifida. If you have any questions on Spina Bifida, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know as well. And until next time, bye!
As far as I go in middle school, my middle school years was pretty smooth, man. People still, like, girls still talked about me, but it wasn't as bad as elementary. Of course, dudes didn't talk about me, but it was mainly girls, and same as elementary. But my friends always been supportive. My friends always had my back. They didn't let nobody talk about me. A lot of dudes that did talk about me behind my back, and if my friends was around, they wouldn't let that shit happen. But no dudes necessarily talked about me to my face, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really like a direct in my face thing, but girls would, because they knew, you know, when girls talk about you, it ain't like you can fight them. You know, I'm a guy, they're a girl. That's not cool, you know. But I would always talk about people back and stand up for myself, of course. You know, you should never let somebody disrespect you or talk about you. But middle school, I started to gain more confidence and care less about my situation. But at the same time, I did things to make myself seem normal. In my eyes, what I deemed as normal, instead of embracing me being who I am. I used to wear braces to make my legs straighter and make me have better balance and walk better. But I stopped wearing those at the end of elementary, probably like probably like 6th grade. And then 7th and 8th, I never wore them. And I'm going to talk about the rest of what I got to say in the high school video. But yeah, that's when I started to stop wearing, that's where I stopped wearing the braces. I stopped wearing the orthopedic shoes. I stopped wearing the shoes with the lift. I had a shoe with a lift on it. If I got a picture, I'll put it in my next video or a future video. I know I ain't got the picture right now, but or I might. If I got it now, I'm gonna insert it in this video. But yeah, I stopped wearing the braces. I stopped wearing the shoe with the lift. I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to act as normal as possible, but it didn't work because I still walk with a limp and I still have horrible balance unless I got braces on my legs and on my feet. But I learned from that lesson. It took me a while, but I learned from it. But my middle school experience was way better than my high school experience. I mean, my middle school experience was way better than my elementary experience, like way better. Elementary, I was just like, this is the worst life in the world. And then by the time I got to middle school, I'm like, man, this life ain't that bad. I really don't like it, but I don't hate it like I did in elementary. You know, if I could switch, I would. But, you know, it is what it is. That was my mindset in middle school. Now, as far as high school, we're going to talk about that in the next video. But y'all like, comment, subscribe. I think I hit 368 subscribers, so shout out to all 368 of y'all. I love all of y'all, man.